Take my money. Take my money. Today, we're going to be talking about Longines watches. One of my favorite brands, amazing history, amazing catalog, something in the brand for absolutely everybody. Before we give you our 5 choices, we're going to tell you a little bit about the company. Zach, why don't you start us off?
Longines was founded in 1832 in Saint-Émilion, Switzerland. Some of their highlights include being the inventors of the wrist-worn chronograph, beating out Breitling by about 2 years. They also pioneered sapphire crystals in watches. They had the first toolless micro adjustment in a watch clasp, which was a big one.
Really
you
cool.
know, that is a really big one. Before becoming part of the Swatch Group and just, you know, working themselves into a space in their lineup where they just offer a ton of value for money.
So Zach, one of my favorite things about the company is the history of their logo. Their logo was created in 1867. A few years later, they actually got the opportunity to trademark it, which was in 1880, and it is the longest lasting continual trademark logo in history, which I find fascinating, which is just a really cool fact to have about them. So let's go into our 5 picks. Zach, what do you have for number 1?
Number 1, we picked the actually the watch that you have on your wrist today. So the brown dial Longines Legend Diver. It's 42 millimeters. It has a 22 millimeter lug width, which is going to be nice. You've got you know, a ton of strap options at 22 millimeters. It's got the L888 movement, which is a 72-hour power reserve movement. It is an ETA exclusive, so it is made by ETA, which is owned by the Swatch Group, but it is exclusively made for Longines. You won't find it in another watch. It's got a 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate, which is kind of odd. It is specific to Longines watches for the most part. You've got a tang buckle clasp on it, 300 meters of water resistance, and it pays tributes to the 1959 Longines compression diver. So just a fun retro dive watch that is good looking. I love the second crown for that internal bezel. You know, Rob, what are your thoughts on the one that you actually added to your own collection?
The stats are cool, but what got me was it's just a cool watch. Like, it's just really an absolute great watch. I will say that the leather strap on this watch fits perfectly. I'm not a big leather strap guy. Zach is definitely, that's his forte for sure. But man, is this one comfortable. I love the dial. I got it in the brown. And to me, it's just a beautiful watch. I wear it as a dress watch as well. But it can be a go anywhere, do anything watch. Absolutely comfortable on the wrist. Beautiful look at. The black around that brown dial really just makes it jump out completely. It's one of my favorite watches. I think for $2,850, it's just really hard to beat that watch.
And Rob, it's worth mentioning, I want to say that was the watch that made you a strap guy. I think before that, you just weren't into them, and they do such a good job with that strap. It's kind of, it's almost buttery.
It is.
Really,
it's
really is.
So comfortable. I remember in the store when you got it in, you brought this one in and another one we're going to bring up in a few minutes, and I was picking between the two to be my first Longines, and I remember when this one hit my wrist and I buckled it on, like you said, butter was what came to mind. I'm like, man, and I was shocked because, like I said, in my mind, I'm thinking, it's not a bracelet, it's not a rubber strap, I'm probably not going to like it, it's going to be stiff and blah, 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 blah. The second it hit my skin, I'm like, oh, this is the one. And I took it home that day and absolutely love it. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Zach, what do you have for the second one?
So we went a little bit dressy on the second one. It is the Longines Sector Dial. 38.5 millimeters is the case size. It's got an opaline ivory dial, opaline being kind of like an off-white tone. This one does have a 19 millimeter lug width, so it is something that it's a little harder to find straps for, but they are out there. It's got their L893 movement in it, 72-hour power reserve. Again, it has the same 25,200 vibration per hour beat rate. This one does have a tang buckle clasp. I think I probably missed that on the last one, but they both do. So you don't get your deployant clasp, but Still, just Longines does a wonderful job with their straps. It's still worth putting up with the tang to have that nice strap. 30-meter water resistance on this one. So being a dressy watch, it's not exactly something you want to go swimming with. And it draws inspiration from the sector dials that Longines pioneered in the 30s and the 40s. So, you know, this is a watch that unfortunately I don't think you and I have ever seen in person, or maybe, okay, you got to see it at Teddy's.
Yep.
I have not yet. And that dial is gorgeous. I'm just waiting for somebody to order one so that I can actually get to lay hands on it, because I think I'm absolutely going to love the watch. And the one that we found, I did not mention this, but it has almost a denim light blue strap that just pops. Mm-hmm. You know, it really, really, really is a good look. So Rob, what are your thoughts on it?
So I do have some experience with this watch. Actually, AJ that works for Teddy Baldassar in Cleveland pulled it for me. We were up there, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, and he pulled it for me, had it waiting on me when I got there, and I was planning on walking in and buying this watch. I walked in, I grabbed the dial, I saw it in the case, grabbed the watch, and fell in love with the dial. To me, I fell in love with the dial online and looking at it, you know, just through YouTube channels and stuff. But when I saw it in person, it was even, you know, more impressive, to be honest with you. What got me, and this is just me, everybody's different, the bracelet wasn't one of my favorite things. I can definitely see it being for most people, to be honest with you. But for me, I wasn't a huge fan of the actual bracelet. And I get in this price range, you can't have everything. The manufacturers just cannot do that. So this watch comes in at $2,750 in the configuration that we have it in, that you saw in B-roll. And that denim strap is what totally, or I'm saying denim strap, denim looking strap is what definitely turned it for me. And I wear denim almost every day. If you see me, I'm going to be in some type of denim. And so now it went from a watch that I turned down buying to on my extremely short list just by changing out the strap with changing out the bracelet for that denim looking strap. So to me, if you've not seen it, try to see it in person. If you like it online, you're going to love it face to face, is my 2 cents about it. What's our third one?
So for our third choice, we went with the Navigation BigEye. And this is an interesting watch. It's one that, to be honest, I probably should have picked this out long ago. They're not the only brand that does this, but I never really understood what the BigEye meant until I realized that the subdial on the Longines Navigation BigEye Chrono is larger at 3 o'clock. And the idea behind this was it needed to be more legible for aviators. You know, you got a lot going on. You're flying a plane, you're trying to operate a chronograph, that's hard enough. Now we're having to glance at a you know, fairly small circle on your wrist and try to make things out. So they enlarged the minutes counter on that subdial to allow for better legibility. So kind of neat there for sure. The one that we chose in particular is the 41 millimeter petroleum blue dial. Now, I still haven't figured out why we call petroleum blue, because I have never seen some blue gasoline, but you know what? We're going to go with it. It is a titanium case on that one, so it is super lightweight, 20 millimeter lug width, so you're going to have a ton of strap options that'll work. It's got the L688 movement with a 54-hour power reserve. Now that one beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, which is the most common beat rate you're going to find out there. It does have a tang buckle on this one as well, 30 meters of water resistance, and you know, it's a beautiful watch. It actually it comes in the box that we've got up here on the left side of the set right now, and you know, you just get this amazing presentation. You've got this big beautiful box, you open it up, you've got this nice chronograph that's got some really great kind of fauxtina to it, but it's a really, really awesome looking watch. And I've had the pleasure of having hands on it with it a few times, and each time it's made an impression. It's a memorable watch, and I lay hands on a lot of watches on a regular basis, and it's definitely one that I remember every time I see it. So Rob, what are your thoughts on it?
So this is one of the other watches that Zach brought in when I picked up my Legend Diver, and it was between these two. And the two factors that played were this leather strap for sure, and I have titanium watches. I'm not the biggest fan of titanium, but I would say most are. So I like to feel my watch on my wrist. A lot of people like super light watches. I would say that the blue dial on that one is spectacular. That's the only word I can come up with to really give a good definition of that particular dial. That blue is on point. They make it in other colors for sure, but I think when you compare them all, your eyes just jump on that blue. And it's a different type of blue. You know, it's got a fade to it. So for those of you that have, maybe you have 3 other watches that have blue dials and you're like, I don't really want another blue watch. Pull this one up, take a look at it. It's not the typical. It's just not. So it is a great, I love the BigEye. I love aviation watches. I think it's just got absolutely great aesthetics and layout and design to it, to be honest with you. So before we go any further, we would love if you would like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. We would really appreciate it. We thank every one of you for your time, for watching it. We know time is a very valuable thing, and we appreciate yours, and we don't take it for granted. So thank you. Zach, moving into the last two, number 4 and 5, tell us what's going to be a little different about these.
So our first 3 were maybe we were looking at as a good entry point into Longines. You know, you're a newer collector or you've never really collected the brand before, and they're just, the first 3 were great places that you could start out. You're not going to spend all the money in the world to get into some really great quality watches. Now, the next 2 that we've got for you, they're going to be a little bit pricier, maybe a little bit more unique, but they are, again, just great places. And if you want to start with these 2, I don't think you're going to go wrong. No. But nonetheless, it's got an anthracite dial, and the entire case is carbon fiber, so super light, super scratch resistant. Just a kind of a cool watch to behold, and not really like anything else in the Longines catalog. So it's definitely its own unique piece. It's got a 22 millimeter lug width, so you're going to have a ton of straps that are great options. It's got the L836 movement with a 52-hour power reserve. So it's a little bit shorter than your average power reserve on a Longines watch, but that's because you've got a 36,000 vibration per hour high beat movement in it. So a little bit of a cool little quirk. And that harkens back to the original 1967 Ultra-Chron that came out with a high beat movement. So tang buckle, 300 meters of water resistance, and while it harkens back to the 67 Ultra-Chron, it's really based on the 1968 Longines Ultra-Chron Diver. And that was the first time we saw a high beat movement in a dive watch. But on top of that, it really just, the whole watch pays homage to a really, really amazing piece of Longines history. So we're talking, 1967, 1968. They come out with a movement that is a high beat movement and guaranteed to run within a minute per month, which translates to plus or minus 2 seconds per day, which should sound familiar because that's what Rolex just got to, in the last decade or so. So really, really impressive stuff there. I mean, to get that kind of accuracy, and it was an actionable warranty that backed it up. So if your watch was not running within that minute, you take it to a watchmaker and they would service it and take care of that, which is just not something that that you really see these days. You've beyond Rolex and the Speedmaster Racing Super, you don't have anything that's promising that kind of accuracy. So really, really cool stuff. It is a little bit of a quirky watch with you've got the retro vibes. You've also got the modern feel of carbon and whatnot with it. But it is just a really, really cool addition to a collection for sure. So Rob, what are your thoughts on it?
2 main points I want to reiterate about this watch. So a while ago I said I'm not the biggest fan of titanium because I want to feel my watch. But there are times, let's just say that it's maybe in the middle of summer where it's just really, really hot where we live at, or let's say you're doing an activity, maybe it's a sport type of activity, or you're playing ball with the kids, whatever it is, that type of activity, where you know you're going to get all hot or maybe sweaty or something like that. So for me, I would rather have carbon fiber than I would titanium. Once again, that's just my personal opinion. So this watch has that light, sporty feel to it, but it's not the metal. It is the actual carbon fiber. So I think that is a really cool asset to this particular watch. Number two, let's talk about high beat for a second. When you're talking about watches and you're talking about the super well-made watches, this is something that not everybody's mastered yet. You know, the two companies that come to mind outside of Longines that gets tons and tons of credit for this, one is Grand Seiko and one is Zenith. Amazing watch brands. But I think Longines doesn't really get the pat on the back they deserve for, hey, we're in that same category, man. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this watch is $5,550. That is not cheap, but it is not the other two brands I just mentioned. I'm not knocking the other brands. I'm huge fans of the other two brands. But this gets you into carbon fiber. This gets you into an amazing diver. This gets you into high beat. I mean, you get a lot for your money for that $5,550, in my opinion. So to me, this is arguably the best, you know, bang for your buck on our whole list. It really is. Okay, Zach, our last watch that we're going to recommend today, number 5. What do you have?
Our number 5 pick is the Longines Spirit Flyback. And on this one, we specifically went with the steel and gold version. So 42 millimeter case, 22 millimeter lug width. So again, tons of options on straps. You have primarily steel as the main material, but then your crown is solid gold, and then everything else that you see gold on it, so like your bezel and whatnot, that's all going to be capped. So capped means it is very thick. It can actually, if you scratch it, it can be polished. It's not like it's a super thin plating that's just going to go away. You do have some material there that can be worked on if you have an issue. This particular one had a green dial. It's got the L791 movement, which has a 68-hour power reserve, 28,800 vibration per hour movement. It does have a deployant clasp on this one. If I'm not mistaken, this might be the first one that we've talked about that actually does, but you know, it's a great option, and you do have a micro adjustment built into that clasp, which is also nice. It's got 100 meters of water resistance, and it pays tribute to the first flyback chronograph that Longines actually debuted back in 1934 and actually patented in 1936. So what is a flyback chronograph? Your typical chronograph, you have to start with the pusher that's up at like 2 o'clock, and then you have to stop it with that same pusher before you can reset it using the pusher down at 4 o'clock. So with that said, if you're needing to time something that's continuous, so I need to go 20 seconds in this direction and then I need to take a 90-degree turn to the left, and you have to take the time to stop it, reset it, and then start it, you just lost some time. So unlike your average chronograph, this one, you can have it running, and as it's running, as soon as you see it get to whatever time increment you need to reset it at, you just hit the reset, and it goes right back to 0 and immediately starts ticking again without losing any time. So, you know, it's a little bit harder to do. And also worth mentioning is the chronograph complication is about the most violent complication that you will find when we're talking about a watch's movement. I mean, you've got these hammers that have to kick in and you know, stop a movement mid as it's in the middle of running and reset it. That's not an easy thing to do. So to not only have a particularly complicated movement, but then add in a flyback function, it is an impressive thing. And I mean, you've got companies out there that, you know, their flybacks start north of $40,000. So to be able to get into this one where it is, it's a great option, and I think it would be a wonderful addition to about anybody's collection. Rob, what are your thoughts on it?
Take my money. Take my money. $7,400. A lot of money. Nothing to sneeze at. Take my money. Let's put that picture back up of that watch. Everybody looking at that thing? That thing is gorgeous, man. Look at that gold and that green. That is one of the most beautiful watches designed. I said what I said. I'm going to die on that hill. To me, I just think if I have to have this watch. I didn't pay much attention to this watch until we did this episode in pre-production, but I tell you, that watch is gorgeous. I mean, I truly want to wake up tomorrow morning and put that watch on and pick my outfit around the watch versus the opposite of what I always do. That watch to me is just absolutely amazing. If that watch had a different brand name on it, we would not be talking about $7,400.
Yeah.
We would be nowhere. That would pay the taxes on what that watch might cost. For those that haven't, and you did a great job of describing it, for those that haven't really ever thought about flyback and what that really means, I mean, it's kicked around a lot, but what really has to go into that mechanical device to pull that off is wizardry, man. I'm telling you, that is some seriously amazing engineering to make that happen. To me, it is an absolute gem of a watch. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I mean, I think it's just amazing.
Well, Rob, the great news is I have one at the store, so I can take your money.
Jen's here. Jen's here.
Well,
Jen's here.
I know.
Oh, okay.
So you said you will die on that hill.
Yeah, I will.
And
Yeah.
so just so everybody knows, he will die because his wife's just off camera. And I was watching her face as he said that, about the take my money comment, and she was not particularly enthused by that one.
Guys, we really appreciate you joining us. As we said earlier, please like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that bell notification. We thank you so much. Let us know in the comments if there's a company brand out there you want us to pick next time. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.